Right then, we got some big players out on loan currently for United. Obviously, the likes of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Antony, Malacia, they've all left for pastures new. So I'm going to look at 6 players that are out on loan and see how they're getting on, because it's interesting. Right, Antony at Betis. I have no idea. He's absolutely smashing it out of the park at early doors on loan at Betis. In his first 3 La Liga games, he's finished every one as man of the match. Now, I have actually seen, he's played 4 games for the club so far. I have seen more than just some of the highlights of it. He's got 3 goals, he's got 1 assist. He is also still smashing it over the bar and out of the stadium on occasion as well. Every day, it does feel like there is a new article praising Antony and his return to form in Spain. And he absolutely deserves credit, because he was done at United before this. And I'll be honest with you, I still think he's done at United. I don't think he's capable of performing for United. I don't think he's capable of performing in the Premier League. And if he goes on and has a successful career in Spain or anywhere else, then I'm happy for him. I don't dislike him as a person. I just don't think he's a Manchester United level player. And I know that there's very much a desire from people to sort of look at the form of some players after they leave Manchester United and just point to everything wrong at Manchester United. But this has happened forever. This has absolutely happened forever. You know, from the early 90s, when people would leave Manchester United and look like they were finished. You know, from what Lee Sharp was done, went on and did very well at Leeds. Phil Neville was kind of done, went on and became the captain at Everton. You know, players that are deemed surplus to requirements at Manchester United. I mean, look at Tim Howard. Tim Howard was finished and then had a very respectable Premier League career following that. It's very possible to go on and do well away from Manchester United. And one of the reasons I think that is I don't think people fully appreciate the level of scrutiny that happens when you're at Manchester United. I don't think people fully grasp just how much there's a cup final factor from the opposition. You know, everyone looks forward to that trip to Old Trafford. Obviously, every new promoted team wants to put in a good showing at Old Trafford. But then the way the media treat you, and obviously as fans, we're absolutely desperate for success at the moment. And I've always said, we'll never fully fathom what that pressure is like. You go anywhere else, there's less pressure. And sometimes that can be enough for a player to thrive. They got to every single player. Look, whether or not I think Antony, I think Antony is the worst signing in Premier League history. But that he's still, you know, an £80 million Premier League Manchester United signing. He's still better at football than anyone I'll ever know, outside of the ex-United players that I know. You know, like anyone that I just know outside of football, he's better than any of them are ever going to be, or better than anyone they know to get that move in the first place. But United isn't for everyone, and not everyone is for United. So do I think he's doing well? Yeah. I hope he smashes it. I hope he finishes the season really strong and someone is forced to pay us a fat fee for him. That's how we win. Dango. Now, Dango's seemingly creating a little bit of a reputation for himself. On loan at Rotherham, it started well. Came off the bench to provide an assist on his debut against Birmingham. But then he's not featured since. And he's unfortunately returned to United with an ankle injury. Well, the club specialists have assessed the damage. The injury hasn't come without some controversy, though. Rotherham manager Steve Evans was sceptical about the credibility of his injury, saying he worked for 2 days in the team and then went home from training on Friday feeling good. Then I get a call from medical staff who say he's woken up with his foot really sore. It's unbelievable. We didn't do enough in training for him to have a sore nose, let alone a sore foot. He sat there afterwards having lunch with the boys, had a rub and got prepared. Until I hear more from the medical staff how it's happened and why it's happened, then maybe God will tell me when I go to sleep tonight. He has later backtracked on those comments, and United staff have reportedly raised a few eyebrows at the situation and the comments. But there's a previous altercation with Antony Martial in a United training session in Dubai, that seemingly points to some potential worries with Go's attitude. He's believed to have suffered a hairline fracture in his foot during the Rotherham training session. But there's a lot coming out about this that doesn't sit warm and fuzzy. I think Dan's going to have to get himself out on a loan and change that reputation, because if there's any validity to some of the criticism, he's going to have to work bloody hard to turn that around. And sometimes perception is often more difficult to shift than the reality and the truth. So whatever's gone on there, get yourself back out on loan as soon as you can and go and prove people wrong, if that's the case. Because it'd be a sad way to see all of this kind of shake out. Right, lads, let's get real. After all of the holiday cheer, you might be thinking, maybe a little bit too much cheer went into my grooming routine this year. Well, fear not. We got you covered with a beard and balls bundle from Manscaped. Use the code Howson, that's Howson, at checkout. You're going to get 20% off and you're going to get free shipping. And this bundle is your ticket to a fresh start. Say goodbye to the winter beard, or keep it sharp with the beard hedger. And let's leave that holiday hibernation behind with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. You don't need the extra fluff down there to stay warm no more. Join 11 million men worldwide who already trust Manscaped. Kick off the new year with a clean slate, and I mean literally with a clean slate. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, you've heard of it? It's famous. It's famous for a reason. Think of it as your ball's new best friend. This thing glides you over even the roughest terrain, if you know what I mean. It's got 2 skin-safe blade heads for a close shave or a trim, and it's got a dual LED spotlight. That is a game changer. Plus, it's waterproof, so no more messing about with the bathroom counter after you shower. Take it in there and get it nailed off with you as well. It's got a travel lock, perfect for keeping the thing tidy on post-holiday getaways. And a beard hedger, ready to tame that wild man? The beard hedger is what you need to do. It's got titanium and coated T-blade, which gives you the ultimate in control. No more messing around with guard attachments. Just use the built-in zoom wheel for the perfect length every single time. And with 60 minutes of runtime, you're good to go at it for an entire month. Plus, Manscaped offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. So there you have it. The Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped. Use the code Howson, that's Howson, at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. Give yourself the gift of a fresh start this year. You deserve it, mate. Marcus Rashford. Now, whatever your thoughts are on the Rashford situation, it was clear to see that the relationship between him and United had gone drastically sideways. And it looked irreparable. He moves to Aston Villa. I don't think I'd say it was the perfect opportunity for him to find his feet again. I think Marcus clearly has got some things going on off the pitch that need addressing. And I don't think moving to Birmingham gives you enough of a lifestyle change to fully address those things. But he is playing back in the Premier League, and he is under a coach that's going to give him an environment to hopefully find his feet again. Now, they brought in some real good talent after selling John Duran. Both Malin and Asensio added to what is quite a talented Aston Villa squad. Now, so far, he's not registered a goal or an assist in the 2 appearances for the club, but when you watch him, you can see something's coming. In his debut, he looked okay, I thought. I think some people were really hamming up how good he looked for whatever reason. Got 22 touches of the ball, finished with 93% pass accuracy, 13 out of 14 passes. You're not getting Marcus Rashford in your team for pass accuracy, though. You want him to be going past people. You want him to be creating chances, and you want him to be scoring chances. There is a buy-in option of 40 million in his loan agreement with Villa. I feel like it's a little bit on the cheap side, but the way that it was going at Manchester United, and he was just completely ostracised and isolated, it might be all you can recoup for him, especially when you factor in the significant wages that he's on, which will be problematic for virtually any club in the world that wants to try and sign him. Now, I think the ship has sailed with Marcus, to be honest with you. I don't see him ever coming back to Manchester United and doing it. That's not to say that I don't think he can do it. I think he can do it. I just don't see it being at Manchester United. I think it's best for everyone if he moves on and gets a fresh start. Ethan Wheatley. Now, he's had a couple of little cameos in the first team, and he's given fans some things to be positive about regarding his prospects. But it looks like he's struggling on loan at Walsall. So far, he's played in 3 games, having only joined in January. He has failed to score or assist for his new club as of the time of recording this. He made a cameo in Walsall's 3-0 battering at the hands of Bradford. He got nowhere near anything. He was later named in a starting 11 versus Fleetwood when they again lost 2-0 this time. And in his first ever senior start, he left Walsall fans a little bit disappointed. Played 68 minutes, 3 out of 4 passes completed, 2 shots, 16 touches, 1 out of 1 dribble, 1 out of 1 tackles, 2 clearances, 3 out of 10 duels, 4 defensive actions. A little bit of a struggle for him to get involved in the game. Walsall are on a poor run of form, a little bit out of character for them this season. Was a little bit of a lack of service into him, but if you want to forge a career in football, you got to go make it happen. Patience is going to be needed for everybody involved, but sometimes you've got to go and make it happen. Malacia. Now, Malacia's loan to PSV came very late in the January transfer window and probably will do wonders for his confidence after the string of injuries and absences that he had while he was at United. And so far, he's only made his debut for PSV, playing 78 minutes for them when they drew 1-1 to Willem. His introduction to the team is being managed carefully, it seems. He's sat on the bench for all but 1 game, and his only start came in that debut. Since then, he's been ranked behind their starting left-back, Maro Jr. And he's playing in a league that he knows well, obviously back in the Netherlands. Familiar surroundings, hopefully give him a little bit of a boost, and hopefully get him some game time. I'm not sure where you go with Malacia. I think he probably can play the wing-back role quite effectively, but he's going to have to start playing some football, and he's going to have to start playing it to a decent level. At 25, would he be happy being Manchester United's backup as his sort of main role, or would he want to play first-team football elsewhere? I'll be honest with you, what I saw from him since he's come back from his injury, I think the reason he's gone out on loan, especially while we're short of players who can literally play his position, is I think Amarim's probably made his mind up on him and don't think he can do that job. So hopefully he plays, and hopefully we can recoup some of the money that we paid for him, and we try and move him on in the summer. Jadon Sancho. Right then. He stirred up even more controversy in recent weeks. Seems to love taking a pop at United at any opportunity. Obviously commented freedom under Rashford's recent post when he signed for Villa. And it definitely didn't go down well with United fans. Now, Sancho's annoying because when we signed him, he was literally the hottest prospect in world football. But in 83 games at United, he registered just 12 goals and 6 assists. And he looks to be going down a similar route at Chelsea with only 2 goals and 6 assists in 22 appearances for them. Now, he's currently got the Chelsea fans pulling their hair out. They seem to want to just be pulling all those little memes out at the start of his loan. The problem was obviously Manchester United. Look at what he's doing. But very quickly, that's turned into sort of highlight reels of Jadon Sancho doing absolutely nothing. Chelsea fans are a little bit annoyed with how one-dimensional he is. And it's hilarious how they thought they were getting a real good player out of United. There is an obligatory buy option for Jadon Sancho, but it does depend on where Chelsea finish. Now, I think it's a top half finish. I can't imagine Chelsea drop out of the top half. Looks extremely likely that it's going to happen. Chelsea's transfer policy is confusing, I think, at best. Sancho is an especially weird player because he was someone, literally, at Dortmund, there was an incredible talent. No, it wasn't, oh, he's playing in the German league. No, it was literally, he was a ridiculous talent, and the things he was doing were of the very, very highest level. He came to Manchester United. He did show flashes of it. You could argue that he came into a team where the expectation was raised higher than perhaps was realistic. That first season under Ole, we've signed Sancho, overran Cristiano Ronaldo after finishing second. I think that was the time we came second. If not, it was when we came third. And now we're expected to put on a bit of a challenge, forego some of that back foot, counter-attacking style and try and start to impose ourselves. And it didn't mesh at all, actually. And I didn't think Sancho's performances were that bad. You could see that there were talent involved in there, someone that wants to play in between the lines rather than play on the shoulder. Like him and Rashford at their peaks could not be different in terms of the way that they operate. But then whatever was going on with him, and again, there was a lot of rumours locally about the things that he was up to. There's a lot of rumours about the reason that he went to Holland. He was given a lot of leeway by Erik ten Hag, which wasn't repaid. And even though there seemed to be at least some sort of public recognition of reconciliation and all that sort of stuff when he came back from Holland and brought back into the team by Erik ten Hag, it wasn't repaid. And then, there was a spectacular falling out, and he obviously wanted out of Manchester United. Now, I think this is sad for a few reasons. One is because of the undeniable talent that he had. And two, it's just another player Manchester United have wasted a serious amount of money on. United's due diligence has to be so much better when we're investing this sort of money. I think loan moves can be very positive. I don't think any of the loan moves that are currently happening are going to directly benefit Manchester United, other than that some of these players might bring in a decent fee. But again, that's the job of the likes of Wilcox and that. That's what we want them guys to do, is to come in, create a strategy where they're like, right, okay, let's take Amir Ibrahimov, for example. Okay, we don't think he's ready for the first team. Do we have a good relationship at Wigan, Sheffield Wednesday, somewhere like that, where we can go and speak to them, guarantee them 2 or 3 Manchester United players a season if they hit an average of 75 minutes a week? Yeah, can we do that? Okay, cool. Then we will happily supply you some players, and you can give these guys some first team football. And maybe you can also help us, we'll give you 2 or 3, but you maybe have quite a bit of an input into them, like we could do with a fullback, any wingers. And then we can establish a relationship with you. And if it's not in England, which I think Championship League 1 would be the most beneficial for Manchester United, why can't we resurrect the ones that we've had across Europe? The Royal Antwerp one was sensational. There was one in Sweden that we had. Why has there not been a relationship established with Sporting, who we obviously have a good relationship with? These are things that would benefit both clubs. If you're serious about developing players, and the way PSR and FFP is going, you have to get serious about buying players, because it's about to be possibly the number 1 or number 2 revenue source for the club, or it should be. That's how Chelsea have managed to spend billions on players recently, is because they've been generating billions by selling their academy players that have just been out on loan at Vitesse for their entire career, but they got 40 million for them at the end of all of those loans. United need to be replicating that on an industrial scale. And you either find players that are good enough for the first team, or you find players that are good enough to raise 30, 40 million every year. And that's how you exist as a football club. But that's going to require a serious look at development and a serious investment into their development. But that's what Ineos and that need to do. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on how these boys are getting on. Do you think any of these are coming back to United? And are you excited if any of them do come back to Manchester United? Or is this a little bit of a what might have been sort of scenario? Let me know your thoughts. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.